Today we want to tackle the topic of SEO in our Markentum Growth Topic series. We're excited to have L'Oreal joining us as our content manager, and she's responsible in ensuring the success of our SEO strategy. There's a lot of confusion about SEO, so we're excited to be joined by her on Zoom today to talk through what that really means and how you can take advantage of SEO today for your senior living company. Thanks so much for joining us today, L'Oreal, and we're excited to talk about this latest Markentum Growth Topic, SEO. People use that term loosely all the time. SEO is talked about at conferences and in casual conversation, and anytime someone's approaching a new agency about their work, inevitably the term SEO comes up. But a lot of people don't really understand what that means. Can you help us to understand what people are probably looking for when they use this term SEO?
Yeah, so SEO obviously means search engine optimization, and I think a lot of people think that that just means, the words you're using on your website. So it's all about content and keywords, and that's a huge part of it, but it's also about the performance of your website. So, how fast or slow your pages are loading. If your website's mobile optimized, so if a user's looking at it on their phone or on a tablet, it fits that device. As well as how old your website is. Newer websites are going to have lower rankings just because Google's still kind of crawling them and understanding what they offer. So there's just a lot more, I think, involved in SEO than just the words you're putting on your website.
Awesome. And you mentioned a word that I think we hear all the time on our side with agencies, this word crawling. What do you mean by that when you talk about Google crawling a website?
Sure, that's just the way that Google kind of goes through your website to understand what you offer. So, how easy it is to navigate will impact your rankings so that, if Google has an easy time navigating it, that'll improve the user experience. And so when Google crawls it, it's just to understand what you offer so that they know how to serve it to users based off of search results.
So you've talked a little bit about what goes into SEO, search engine optimization. What are some things that a senior living company could do to improve those SEO rankings, improve their effort there?
I think just taking into consideration all of those things, like I said, it goes beyond just your content. So making sure that you are doing things on the back end of the website in terms of those keywords, making sure your website is mobile optimized. I think some of it is also patience with SEO, just like the age of your website. That's just going to happen over time. So SEO, there's definitely a patience factor involved, but just taking those steps to kind of cross everything off your list should help improve rankings over time.
When you talk about that time and that patience, SEO effort it is an ongoing process, right? There's a lot involved. There are a lot of pieces. It almost could be its own little omni-channel world, right? Like all of the little integrated parts of SEO. What do you think on average is a good amount of time for someone to recognize will need to happen in order for that SEO ranking to start to see an impact? Do you have a time frame?
I mean, they usually say maybe between 3 to 6 months, but it really depends on what kind of changes you're making. So when you're starting a new SEO strategy, I would say giving it about 6 months to kind of understand the results you're getting in and then making changes from there. But you're not going to see results overnight, and I think that's another misconception. People think they put a blog out and then they're going to rank for that word, the next day. And just understanding that it's just going to take time for those results kind of to happen.
Yeah, one of those things that SEO, that Google's actually measuring is the longevity. And really it's another way of saying the credibility, right? Where how much time has this company or this online entity been in existence and putting out credible resources. So yeah, you hit on something that I think we hear all the time, this kind of what's my overnight magic success with SEO. And so I think it's really great for people to understand it's going to take 3 to 6 months to start to see that effort ramp up.
Absolutely.
So at Markentum, we are senior living focused, which means that we work primarily with companies that are in the senior care space, whether that's a skilled nursing facility, assisted living community, independent living community. What are some of the things that a senior living company can do to benefit their SEO efforts?
I think a lot of it is just an understanding of their audience. So kind of like you touched on, as people that work in the senior living industry, we understand kind of the language that we use. We know a lot of our partners don't like to use the word facility because it sounds kind of too clinical. They use, community. But someone that's new to maybe searching or looking into senior care options, they don't know those language terms. So they may naturally look for an assisted living facility because that's the term that maybe they're familiar with, or even a nursing home because they don't understand the difference. So I think understanding that and finding ways to implement those terms into your website so that you kind of rank for them and then be an educational resource to people as they find you. So even just explaining, with a blog, why we're not a nursing home can help you rank for some terms and then again be a resource to your audience so they understand kind of the care and services you offer.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a fantastic point that you're making, that while there may be a unique senior living culture and language that we certainly want to, as an agency, Markentum is wanting to grow in our awareness of those terms and honor the cultures that are being provided, we also have to be honest with the audience and recognize that there are terms that these may be terms that they don't even know yet. And so living in that tension between both communicating to the prospect and also keeping those cultural terms true. What do you think? So you mentioned, writing a blog. Are there any other things that we can do to help with those terms, to help kind of grow the awareness around that?
I think your blog is a great way to be an educational resource. You can have content on your website itself. If you're doing kind of paid efforts, incorporating some of those terms into maybe the words you're going after. Again, you just want to rank for those terms because those are the ones your audience are using. You can build your website with all of the partner client specific terms you want, but if no one's searching for them, no one's going to find your website.
So obviously at Markentum, we are huge fans of educating and being a resource ourselves. The whole point of these growth topics is to provide people with some meaningful insight into their efforts. So what's one last thing, L'Oreal, as the leader in our world, the expert in the Markentum world regarding SEO, that you would want people to know about kind of as we close this conversation?
I think a big thing to understand with SEO is kind of just understanding your competitors online. So we find that with our partners, when we ask them, who are their competitors, they're going to name the community, up the street or around the corner. And while those are your competitors, even on the online space, it's important to understand them in the online space. So the community up the street may be 20 years older than you, with 70 communities across the country. So their domain by itself already has more authority. Their marketing budget may be that much bigger than yours, if you are a one community or a two community. So understanding that while you can still compete with them online, you just need to set realistic goals, and you may not be able to outrank them in every single circumstance, but you can outrank them in the ways that are important to your community.
Absolutely. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing with us today, L'Oreal. This has been great.
You're welcome.
If you have any further questions about SEO, or you want us to analyze and take a look at your SEO strategy today, reach out and connect with us here at Markentum. I would love to help you understand how this is a powerful tool that can help you to drive your rankings up as well as reach the right audience. So connect with us at Markentum and we will be happy to help you in your SEO strategy today.